How's it going, everyone? I'm Keegs, and one of my favorite Star Wars novels was Thrawn Alliances because it's got an awesome parallel with Thrawn and his relationship with Anakin and Darth Vader at two separate points in their lives. I was planning on covering this book at some point, especially with Thrawn being a major player in live action these days, but lucky for us, they're actually releasing this exact novel in comic book form. So now I'm going to go over each issue as they release, and we're going to go through the whole story with awesome visuals. So this story starts out with Thrawn on the bridge of his Imperial Star Destroyer, the Chimera, with his second in command, Commodore Faro. Thrawn, being a tactical genius, has recently taken out an insurgency operation and notes that one of the ships is trying to protect the other ships, so clearly there must be someone or something important aboard that larger vessel. Thrawn's goal is to win, however, not just kill because he can, which is kind of a little different than a lot of Imperial officers because a lot of them I think are just there for the brutality. So because he believes that the protecting ship to be someone of honor and courage because they're willing to sacrifice their life, he offers the vessel clemency in exchange for them basically just leaving and never attacking another Imperial ship. Because Thrawn's great like that because he thinks like, I don't want to create a martyr and then have a bigger problem on my hands, so if I can just offer them clemency and leave, then no hard feelings, no one's going down and trying to avenge their dead brother. Just then though, the Emperor summons Thrawn back to Coruscant because he has a new mission for Thrawn. He has sensed some kind of disturbance in the Force on Batuu and wants Thrawn to investigate and find out what it is since he knows Thrawn is familiar with the planet. He then also sends Vader with them so that once discovered, Vader will do the thing that he does best and subsequently deal with the problem, likely through the use of a lightsaber. On the ship deck of the Chimera, one of the stormtroopers is making it clear that Vader's shuttle should be in slot 1, the First Legion in slot 2, and Thrawn's in slot 3, even though it's literally Thrawn's ship. So it just goes to show that even though he's a Grand Admiral, there is still so much prejudice of him being an alien, and that really goes to show how capable and impressive Thrawn must have been to have gained the position he did even through being an alien. Suddenly, the ship is brought out of hyperspace though, and Commodore Faro gives a report to Thrawn that all systems seem to be fine, so they can't figure out what the problem actually is, but they're continuing to search. This is when we get the first hints that maybe Vader isn't super happy to be on this mission. He replies that if there's no problem with the ship, then there must be one with Thrawn's crew. Faro replies that she doesn't believe that and she thinks that more likely they've run into the shadow of some unknown mass. Vader continues to be snarky though and is like, where is it then? If you can't even find that, maybe your crew just isn't very good. Thrawn cuts in and is like, yo, my crew is more than adequate. If there's another mass, then let's just press on forward and we should pass it by and hop back into hyperspace, no big deal. Faro tells Command to push forward and keep searching for objects in the way, and Thrawn chimes in again to also be on the lookout for other ships. Faro is a little surprised and is like, you think there's other ships out here? And Thrawn is like, doubtful, there wasn't much traffic the last time I was here, but you never know. Which is surprising to Faro, and she's like, I didn't know that you've ever been to this part of the galaxy. And Thrawn is like, yeah, it was a long time ago in the Clone Wars. Which is when Vader very aggressively steps in to be like, enough with the past, focus on the present. And then just angrily storms towards his room like, wake me when we get moving again. After 2 hours, the ship is not able to get back into hyperspace like there's an interceptor-sized ship out there, except if there was a ship that big, then they surely would be able to detect it. Vader's like, maybe it's cloaked, but Thrawn immediately shuts that down and is like, that's impossible to run a gravity generator and a cloaking device at the same time, since those are literally opposing forces and would just cancel each other out. Vader isn't convinced though, and says maybe there's a new technology out there that Thrawn doesn't know about. But Thrawn sticks to his position and says you can easily change technologies, but not as easily science. Though I'm gonna kinda have to disagree with Thrawn on this one, since maybe science can't change, but our understanding of it sure as hell does all the time, so something that was impossible today is commonplace tomorrow. Anyways, Thrawn is like, let's just do a jump by jump to get there, and Faro's like, I've actually got a better idea. Vader tries to shut her down and is like, you've been given your orders, now just do it. But Thrawn is like, chill man, I like to hear my subordinates' ideas, so go ahead, Faro. Faro says that if they jump to Mokiv first, then they could jump to the hyperspace lane and save themselves 14 hours. Thrawn tells her that's an excellent idea and let's do it. And again, Vader chimes in with his petty ass saying, nah, it'll save them 11 at the most. Thrawn doesn't disagree, but he's like, okay, I mean, that's still a lot better than not saving 11 hours. They get to Mokiv and notice that it's been absolutely devastated. And Vader doesn't really care, he just wants to get on with the mission to Batuu, but Thrawn suspects that maybe the thing that they are looking for could be linked, since it seems very coincidental that they would just happen upon something like this on the way to Batuu. He doesn't have any proof of that yet though, so they end up just continuing on their way. Thrawn does let Vader know that if they're aware of some presence out there on Batuu, then maybe the people that they're searching for are also aware that they're being hunted. But then Vader gives like my favorite line in this whole issue. He goes, "Awareness does not necessarily mean preparedness." And that's just such a badass line from a bulldozer that doesn't care if you know he's coming, since he's going to mow you down regardless. And then we get a hint into Vader's mind, and he thinks to himself, no, he was not prepared for what happened here, the Jedi at whose feet this disaster lies. That line, I think I could spend an entire video breaking down about how he's talking about the parallels between the situation that he's in with Thrawn right now, his situation when he was a Jedi on Mokiv, and the entire situation that he has been in since the fall of the Jedi Order and the rise of the Empire. It's just such a powerful statement. But I'm going to spare you all that long analysis now, and we move on to Thrawn and Vader going down to the planet Batuu. Thrawn wonders if they'll remember him, and Vader is like, they absolutely will after the shit you pulled last time with that Jedi. And sure enough, they go into the bar, and the bartender recognizes Thrawn and asks if he's back with that dude that he was there with last time, and Thrawn slyly goes, yeah, I'm told he died some years ago. It's not a lie, but he sure as hell doesn't believe that to be true. The bartender tells them that this new alien crowd in town isn't causing trouble, but they seem like they might start soon. Vader agrees with the bartender and recognizes that these guys are kind of hostile and this could be an attack. Thrawn calms the Chimera and tells them that an enemy ship is headed in their direction and to gather data and remain hidden. Vader's like, that's bullshit, intercept them and don't let them escape. Thrawn tells the Chimera that his orders stand for his people, but if the First Legion needs assistance, then the Chimera will assist. Vader isn't happy that Thrawn isn't taking his commands, but Thrawn is like, you command your people and I'll command mine. But for now, we have other things to take care of. And immediately, the aliens in the bar jump up and start attacking Thrawn and Vader. Alright, so now we're going to get a look into the past, and we can start to piece together why Vader may be acting a little more short-tempered than even usual. Years ago, Padmé went to Batuu looking for her old handmaid, Duja, after she received a cryptic message that something important was discovered. When Padmé arrived though, she immediately found her old friend dead, though she pretended not to know the woman because she could invite the wrong kind of attention. But she did learn that the town was saying she died of a speeder bike accident, which immediately makes Padmé suspicious since she knows how adept of a rider Duja was. Padmé covertly swipes the brooch from Duja and uses the secret beacon inside to locate her ship. While aboard, she finds a transmission from Duja detailing a separatist factory on Mokiv. Padmé knows that she should wait for Anakin and the Republic to act on this information, but she also knows that if she waits, the Separatists may close down and leave before they ever get a chance to find out what was being made. She decides to leave a message for Anakin and the Republic and head there in Duja's ship, since Duja's is more heavily armed than Padmé's. Anakin does arrive shortly after to Batuu and encounters another ship in the immediate area. He attempts to turn them away, but the mysterious person in the ship is able to deduce that Anakin isn't on official business and that he is looking for the Nubian ship that landed there. Anakin doesn't really want any assistance, but the man identifies himself as Thrawn from the Chiss Ascendancy. Anakin contemplates it and decides if there are more species outside of the unknown regions, it could be beneficial to make an ally and decides to meet up with him on the ground. Anakin arrives first and sees some strange aliens around Padmé's ship and immediately begins to attack them. But Thrawn arrives quickly and actually speaks their language and is able to end the hostilities and learn that they're basically smugglers that were surprised to see another ship in their landing spot. Anakin investigates the ship and finds no sign of a struggle, and Thrawn figures that maybe there's someone else in the town nearby that knows something, so they head to that same exact bar that we saw in the flash forward. They try bribing the bartender, but quickly realize it's a trap when an explosion goes off behind the bar, and Thrawn and Anakin find themselves fighting for their lives. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to conclude part 1 of this Thrawn and Vader story. I hope you've enjoyed it and are intrigued to find out just how far Anakin and Thrawn's alliance goes. Let me know what you thought down in the comments though. I'm Keegs, and I will catch you all next time for some more Star Wars content.